Hello, I'm going to explain a little bit about the game that I've made here in Unity. Here's the Unity editor. Here's my game, all its glory. This is called Pizza Puritan because you are this little guy here who really likes pizza but doesn't like pineapple on pizza. So you go around collecting pizzas. I have a little red arrow that directs you to the nearest pizza that you need to go grab. Um, it's got kind of like little 2D platformer controls. Run up and hop on all these little platforms. The camera moves through the different little stages, levels thingy. You can go get your pizzas and just don't hit the pineapple or you die. Go back to the start. So that's the game. It's pretty simple. You got to collect all 12 slices of pizza. It should have been 8, but we have 12. Um, I'll show some of the code and what it took to make this game. Um, it took a lot of, not necessarily a lot of code, but um, but a good amount of code. I'll start guess with I'll show player behavior and kind of walk through the code. Um, we set a couple values here. We grab a rigid body, which is something that Unity uses, makes physics a little bit easier. So I'm allowed to get basic gravity components and collisions and acceleration and things like that. So I'm using that, and then I have an update function, which is called every frame of our game. We're checking for key inputs, and if we are hitting the up arrow and we're touching the ground, then we are no longer touching the ground, and we are adding a velocity upwards. Same thing for down, we add a velocity downwards so that we can move our character like that. Our move input is specified by this is something that Unity has. It's nice. We can call on the input object get access raw horizontal. So that means it's checking for our left and right key inputs. And basically, if we have a key input, we're going to do add some acceleration to our velocity. We have a what's it called, a vector 2 object, which has 2 floating point values in it, one for our x and one for our y. But currently we're just grabbing this x, and I'm setting it toward as mathf.move towards, meaning that whatever the value is, we want to move towards from our current velocity to this velocity, which is a number computed by, or sorry, move to this velocity, speed times move input. And we want to do this across a max delta of our acceleration times our time dot delta time. It's a time object, and this is basically the Unity frames, and it's a number counting up from 0. And then if movement isn't happening, then we're going to check if we're grounded or not, and we want to, this is just a little logic to make our character stay in place more, and we have some deceleration that's happening whether we're in the air or if we're not in the air. So there's air deceleration and ground deceleration. And then we're going to actually move our character based on our velocity that we've changed. So this is all the logic for the math, and then this is actually moving our characters transform so that they move across the screen. And then we're checking for collision triggers. This is if we touch a pineapple, the enemy object, and it says don't mix pineapple and pizza. We have a collision. This is for, we can check specifically if we hit our wall, if we hit our ramps, if we hit certain stuff. On the walls, what I'm doing is I'm changing the gravity scale, and I'm changing our velocity so that when you can hit a wall and kind of bounce up it and move along the wall as you would in most platformers. I'm not sure if I'm going to go through all of this code. There's very specific code. This is to place our pizzas around the screen, and this is cool and it's dynamic so that I can edit the level and it'll automatically do all this for me and place the pizzas where I want them. I have a camera controller that just moves based on if we've moved off the screen, and it will shift to the new block. Yeah,